Hello to all you wonderful people out there. Let's do this. Tuesday morning, fresh coffee. Life's fantastic. It's not raining in Washington State yet, so got to take the wins when you can get them. So, today's topic, it's something that we've touched on before, but it's something that comes up so regularly, I almost feel like we can't touch on it frequently enough. And I'm going to steal a phrase that I really like from Mr. Adrian Bosman. And it falls under the whole modulating intensity thing, staying sane, not being crazy, and how one workout can serve multiple purposes. And Adrian has this phrase that he says that I really like, is you can think of any workout that we post every day, and you can look at it through one of two lenses: training or testing. Same workout, but two very different courses of action. And as hopefully obvious as it is once we discuss it, I think it's easy to fall into the trap, or CrossFitters mistakenly feel like every workout they attack it with some sort of a testing mindset and approach, instead of just thinking, I'm allowed to have just training days, and that's okay. Having a testing mindset every time you walk into the gym, you will fall off a cliff eventually, that it is not going to be sustainable. And, we say this multiple different ways, and I'm going to say it this way today, the training versus testing, because it's almost like cueing an athlete, whether you're trying to get their hips open on a clean or something like that. You might try 1, 2, 3 different verbal cues. That doesn't work. You go to a tactile cue. That really doesn't turn the light bulb on. Then you do a visual demonstration. They go, oh, now I see. So sometimes articulating the same point or concept or theory, but in different ways, turns the light bulb on for different people. So maybe this one will help some folks. We've also discussed this training versus testing mentality as your training days. We call those they're just another brick in the wall, right? You're building this wall of sturdy, durable, bulletproof, ideally, long-term health and fitness. And every workout that you do, just a brick in the wall. That's it. It doesn't have to be the most amazing lifetime PR brick every day. It's just another brick in the wall. And over time, all those bricks, cemented to one another, sitting on one another, the wall gets more sturdy, it gets more durable. That's just training. That's the training mentality. And every now and then, one of those bricks is a shiny gold brick. And that was a training day that you decided to really get after, and you set a PR. But it's not going to be, every brick in that wall is not going to be a shiny gold brick, right? Just, we're putting bricks in the wall. It's all good. So, we're going to talk in that same kind of concept and mindset today, but with this phraseology that I really like from Adrian: training versus testing. So same workout, different mindset. And what's funny is, and I could be wrong about this, I'm wrong constantly, is I think this training versus testing thing, or allowing yourself the grace to modulate your intensity and just go get in a workout, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy, like just go do a workout, was really obvious to a lot of people before they started doing CrossFit. And then they started doing CrossFit, and for some reason, maybe it's the clock, maybe it's everything being timed, it changed. Because I know a lot of people, myself included, were runners or joggers or whatever, for the decent part of our lives. Just you'd go out for a jog. It was a very common way that people would try to stay in shape. Well, that's exactly what a lot of people would say. They'd get up in the morning, put their shoes on, and they would just say, I'm going to go for a jog. And they would literally just jog. And they wouldn't say every morning when they put their shoes on, well, it's another day to try to set an absolute lifetime best on this run course. I've run this course every day for the last 5 years, and I have to set a new PR every single time I go out the door, so let's do it. It's silly when you put it in that regard, right? Put on your shoes and go for a run. And that's okay. And you can do the same thing in CrossFit. Just go ahead and get yourself in a workout, and it's going to be fantastic, and it's probably going to be sustainable, and you'll still be doing it in 10 years because you won't be burnt out. So this training versus testing mindset can apply to darn near any workout. I'll give a couple examples. So a workout that everyone knows that I'm just obsessed with, right? Helen. What a beautiful, classic, amazing CrossFit workout. 3 rounds, 400-meter run. I'm going to swing some kettlebells. We're going to do some pull-ups. Life's great. Well, you can do Helen as just a training workout for the week, or you can do it as a test. Exact same workout, nothing changes except for how you get after it. So if Helen is just the workout that you need to do because I'm going to hit it, I'm going to go about 70%, I'm just making that number up, about 70%. I'm going to get in some running, going to get breathing pretty hard, going to get a nice sweat going. I'm going to touch some load, get in some nice hip drive with the kettlebell. I'm going to keep my pull-ups good to go, and life's great. That's it. And the clock says what it says. Whoop-de-doo. To some degree, it doesn't matter. I just did Helen today as a training workout to move my body in an intelligent fashion based upon what I did the 1, 2, or 3 days previous and based upon what I'm doing the next couple of days. Helen made sense today. I didn't necessarily have to PR Helen. I just needed to do the movement patterns and the loadings and the rep range and the time domain. That made sense for me today as to where I am in my training, and it's just a training day. Good to go. Now, same workout, Helen, testing mentality. I'm not going 70%, right? If we have a testing mentality, I'm going to give this all I have and see where it shakes out. And that's testing, and that's not how you could live every day, nor should you. And you're trying to go for your lifetime, PR or match it, or just see where you are relative to where you have been. That's a testing day. And largely, since it's exactly the same workout, for those of you following along at home, the key factor that you have changed between testing Helen and just training Helen is you've just decided to dial up that intensity knob. That's the secret sauce right there between training day and a testing day. And I'm absolutely have been guilty of this in my younger CrossFit years. I felt like every day, I felt like CrossFit, I did not have a very sophisticated or actual true understanding of what CrossFit was. I felt like every day that I walked into the gym had to be a near-death experience. Every day that I walked in the gym, I had to dance with the devil, and it was just go time. And if I wasn't laying on the floor, hyperventilating, non-communicative, non-ambulatory, can't remember my name, then I didn't do a CrossFit workout that day. This may be ringing true for some people watching this video. I've been there. That's a testing day. Okay, that's a testing training mindset. That's not a training mindset. That's a testing mindset, and that is not going to serve you well day in and day out for very long. I'm here to tell you. Most of the time, you should have training days. Most of the time, and you should sprinkle in the testing days or mindset, or phrased another way, you should allow yourself to modulate that intensity that not every day is 100%. Allow yourself to have days that are 50, 60, 70, 80%. You're totally good to go. And as a matter of fact, you'll probably be in this game a whole heck of a lot longer. We could play this same game with a 7x1 deadlift day with a training mindset versus a testing mindset. So a 7x1 deadlift on a training day is, I'm just going heavy because going heavy is profoundly beneficial. I'm going to pull 7 heavy singles. It's a 7x1 deadlift day. Whatever feels heavy today, I'm going to be okay with. And I'm going to just pull whatever feels appropriately challenging today. Because, I did whatever I did the last few days, slept however I slept. Just got to get in a deadlift today. Doesn't have to shake the world up. Doesn't have to be the best thing I ever did. I just need to deadlift today and pull 7 heavy singles. The bar speed will be nice the whole time. Good bar speed on every lift. There'll be no real sticky points, where it's like shaking around the knee. That's not going to happen on just a regular sort of training day. There's not going to be any eyeballs just popping out of my head. That's not what we're looking for in just a training day 7x1. All the lifts will be hard, again, appropriately challenging. Shouldn't be easy, or else it's not a heavy day. They'll be hard, but I'm not nervous approaching the bar. I know unquestionably that I am in no danger of failing any of these 7x1 deadlifts. Period, end of story. That's my training day. That's a great day. And I would say if you're looking for percentages, again, there's probably some wiggle room in there as well. But on a training day, if you're around 80% or more of your 1 rep max, you moved the needle of fitness forward. You're great. If every one of those was at 80% and no higher, you had a great day in the gym. It's fantastic. That's a training day on a 7x1 deadlift. Now we have a testing day on a 7x1 deadlift. Well, you're probably going to have on a different playlist, right? You're going to have a bit of a different mindset. A friend might be slapping you with chalk in the face or something like that. Obviously, I'm being a bit silly. But on a testing day, on one of those 7x1 deadlifts, you're actually going to try to find your true 1 rep max. All that you've got in the tank. What have you got? And there's a possibility, since you are trying to push the limits of your capacity, that you might fail. And that wasn't really something that should have been in the cards on the training day. So yeah, you might fail on the testing day. The bar speed will definitely be slower, without question, because if you are approaching the actual limits of your capacity, that bar is going to slow down from the bottom position as you start to make it up to the top, for sure. There might even be a sticky point that you have to fight through. That's a possibility. That wouldn't probably happen on the training day as well. That true 1 rep max is going to be a dogfight. Now, in what I just said, you should not hear the word dangerous. The lift is not supposed to be dangerous. You're not supposed to compromise your form, mechanics, technique. While maintaining your form, mechanics, and technique, you are looking to push yourself as far as you can possibly go. Absolutely should not be dangerous. So hopefully that's profoundly obvious to everybody listening. On a true 1 rep max, as I approach the bar, I have a feeling that I did not have on the training 7x1 deadlift. As I approach the bar for that 1 rep max, I am nervous. I've got those butterflies in my stomach because I might fail. It might not go all the way up. Again, don't read dangerous into that. But it is nervous because you're going for it. So it's an entirely different feeling, an entirely different level of intensity in the way that you approach it. Exact same workout. 7x1 deadlift training day, 7x1 deadlift testing day. Same workout. And we can play this game with anything. The workout of the day today on Linchpin is Gretel. Can't remember now whether it's the clean and jerks or the burpees that come first, but 10 rounds, 3 clean and jerks, 3 burpees, 135 or 95 pounds. You could attack that workout with a training mindset. It's just a day I got to move. I'm going to do a bunch of clean and jerks, which are fantastic for my body and my fitness. I'm going to do a bunch of burpees, which are fantastic and great. And the time shakes out wherever it shakes out. I'm going to hit this about 70%. Life is good. Or did you wake up feeling a little froggy, feeling like you could tear the head off a lion, feeling good for whatever reason? You just walk into the gym, you're like, today's the day. Man, we did Gretel however long it was ago, 3 months ago. I'm getting after it. Well, it sounds like you kind of have more of a testing mindset that day, and it's all good. But just do one or the other consciously, kind of be in charge of your own destiny as best you can. And this largely comes down to modulating intensity, which, I've done a bunch of videos on that. We're very big on that at Linchpin. It's one of the things I did not do well in my earlier CrossFit years, as I've been very vocal about. And as a matter of fact, if you remember the private track, every Friday in our private Facebook group, I post a video previewing the upcoming week's workouts, and I give you at least how I think I'm going to modulate my intensity for those workouts. The days I think that I'm really going to try to press the gas, the days that I'm going to hold back, the days I'm maybe not going to run the clock. And so, like everything else, there's a modulation of intensity. It's not every one of those workouts I'm going to press the gas. That's not going to treat you well. So I, roll however you want to roll. I'll tell you what works well for me is, we post 5 workouts a week. And in general, out of those 5 workouts, I usually try to stomp the gas on 2 of them. That might not mean 100% blackout pace. That just means I'm really going to try to stomp the gas on however I feel that day on 2 of the 5 workouts. Well, for all of you math aficionados out there, 2 out of 5 is 40%. So that means I'm really only hitting it hard 40% of the time. The other 60% of the time, I would say I'm operating at a moderate pace. I could have a conversation to some degree while I'm doing it. And that allows me to still be doing CrossFit 16 or 17 years later. Whereas I stuck with every single day, I'm attacking it like I'm trying to set a lifetime PR. I think my body would feel terrible right now. I'd probably be burned out. I would hate CrossFit, and I'd be doing something else. And that's not where we want anybody to be. In closing, here's something that I think is really cool and absolutely possible for everybody. And that is, if you do this modulating your intensity and understand training versus testing, or just putting another brick in the wall, right? If you do this properly, intentionally, and consistently, your average raises over time. Okay? Because you're just putting those bricks in the wall, and they do add up for sure. And so now it takes time. So what I mean by that is, if you're training for months and years, which is the goal, and you're having those days where, most of your days are training days, and then you hit the testing every now and then, or to go back to like what I said, 60% of the time I'm at a moderate intensity, 40% of the time I'm really getting after it. Well, your average goes up. And so what I mean by that is, as you look back over the months or years, the deadlift that previously was your testing 1 rep max, now all of a sudden you can pull off the ground on a training day. And you're like, oh wow, geez, I remember when this used to be my 1 rep max. And now I can pull it on almost any day that I know a 7x1 deadlift comes up. That's really cool. That's absolutely in the cards for anybody who sticks around and does this long enough. As you stick around and do this long enough, you might go out and do Helen one day, and you look at the time, and maybe you attacked it at 75, 80%, right? Like you're not hitting it 100%. And you look at the time on the wall, and you're like, wow, I haven't done Helen in about 9 months. Geez, I'm within 3 seconds of my lifetime PR, and I wasn't operating anywhere near 100%. That's crazy. That's cool. That's completely possible, and that's the goal for everybody. You can get there, trust me. But you just need to understand training versus testing. Understand, just another brick in the wall, right? We're looking to put bricks in the wall. Understand modulating intensity. Give yourself the grace to just go ahead and do workouts. And then if you don't want to run the clock every now and then, that's okay. Just don't run the clock. Get yourself in a training day, whatever pace you feel, whatever loading you feel, you'll be good to go. Scaling's really cool. Scale as often as you need to. And all of these things joined together will, over time, raise your averages. And your knees will feel good, your back will feel good, your shoulders will feel good, and you won't get burnt out. And that's the goal. So, that's all I've got. If you're doing Gretel today, have a wonderful time. Other than that, we'll talk later.